Hi everyone, I'm Jess Finn, the Assistant Station Manager and Webmaster for 88.7 WNHU. I'm here today with Bruce Barber, our General Manager here at WNHU, and Amy Sirachi, our Station Manager. This podcast is a part of the University of New Haven Welcome Project, a collection of stories about diversity, inclusion, and belonging. Why is getting students on campus involved in clubs important to you?
I think it's an essential part of your college experience, right? So I always say that, the 4 years of college is like this amazing transitional growth period. So you've come from all these years of, being with your family, your friends, everything's kind of organized for you. And then all of a sudden you're very quickly in this environment where you're making your own decisions, you have a lot more freedom. And I really think that's when you find out what you're all about. I think you grow as a person and get a chance to identify the way you feel and how you belong to a group, and the same thing for others.
Yeah, I've also noticed that when I wasn't involved in student activities, especially during the years of COVID, my mental health was definitely lower too, and being involved and being around people now and finally getting out of that slump has definitely helped me personally, just with my mental health.
It's just really important to have that escape, just being away from home and being thrown into a brand new environment that a lot of people don't know what it's like and don't know what to expect. There's so many changes going on because you're not only moving from home and high school to college and for some people, different state. You're also going through a huge transition within your freshman year. It's super important to, like I said, have one place where you feel like you belong and you can come to, and where there's open arms that'll welcome you, which is exactly what this radio station is, which is why I love it so much. So just having at least one thing that you can put all your energy into, and that the people there are always going to help you out and have your best interest at heart. I mean, that is just so important.
Yeah, that's a great point about, the transition. Again, we come back to that of being a college student, especially first and second years. You're being thrown into a position where you've got to figure out interpersonal relationships in a totally new way. So it really becomes so important to have students be able to feel that sense of belonging.
Can you describe a moment where you felt like you didn't belong anywhere on campus?
Yeah. Oh, wow. So I've been really involved in the radio station my all 4 years. This is where all my eggs are. I threw them all into WNHU's basket.
Wise move.
And I would say a year before the pandemic, there was a time where I wasn't getting along with everybody. I wasn't really in love with where I was in the station as an organization. And all it took was a meeting with you, Bruce, to talk about my concerns and to talk about what path I can start going down or how I can change this, because it led me to be the station manager. So I think it's just the outlook that I had and connecting with different people. So it was back in my sophomore year. I was really active my freshman year doing a show on our stream, rest in peace, if you know, you know. And I eventually moved up after my semester year requirement to do FM. I was on the promotions committee. I went to every single meeting. I was at every single event that I could be at. I really, really loved it. And it came to the opportunity where now as we went through our first year to go and work for the station and be on a leadership team. And I was assigned to be the assistant promotions director. And I had felt that I'd put in, an X amount of effort that should get me at this position. And I just wasn't happy just because I felt like I deserved more. And that's not a knock against anybody who got something higher. It was just this is where I felt I was, and I wasn't. And I had a lot of people in my life tell me just to be patient and not to be as frustrated, because I'm a very stubborn person. So when I'm not happy in a position or I'm not happy with something, it really does affect my everyday life. And also too is I was in my second year of college, and anybody who's gone through college knows it's a very, very difficult transition no matter what position you're in or where you find yourself to be in that first year. And I was very frustrated with how many times my parents and Bruce and everybody was just like, be patient. You got to prove yourself over time. And eventually, like, what you can prove and what you can prove through your work will get you where you want it to be, which was the position I am in now. So, and I had that talk with Bruce. I had a couple with Bruce where I was like, I feel like I should be here. I feel like I should do this. And he's become one of the biggest mentors at school here. And he helped me get on a better track and a better mindset to go in and shape my career at WNHU, my very short career here. So, it was just, that was the biggest low in terms of working for WNHU.
But that's so nice to hear. And I think the important lesson there, you learned something about yourself, right? Like, and I think that's what's so important during your college career is learn who you are. But I think if you can start to, get a better sense of who you are when you're in college, that's like half the battle.
Yeah, definitely. And I would want to go through that low over and over. Looking back, I would never want to have skipped that point as much as it sucked for me mentally, because like you said, it has helped me. And as a station manager, I have been able to help everybody who are on that same track who want to work their way up in the radio station. I've been able to share that experience and be like, yeah, I had some horrible days here. I did some things I shouldn't have, and but I was able to redirect, and I'm happy that I can help other people redirect and get them, like Bruce helped me get where I want to be. I can help, my peers that are coming in my shoes after me get to that same place. And it also, I'm very happy that I was able to learn that lesson, because it's like, I wouldn't say it's like very a juvenile thing, but it helped me mature as an adult, and having that experience and knowing what it's like to be frustrated and just kind of throw in, throw to the trash. It's going to help me after college and in my real world job.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of why I thought that the station would be the perfect subject for this podcast, because I consider it like a home away from home. And when you're home, you're not always just constantly having those positive attributes that people are just constantly talking about. Like, they're also going to knock on the negative ones and try and teach you life lessons. And I've definitely learned my own lessons here at the station. I know Amy has too, and I'm sure Bruce has as well.
100%.
So I figured it would it is a home. It's not all positive things. There are the negatives, and we grow from them and we learn from them. And that's the point, Yeah, so Bruce, do you have any experiences where you felt like you didn't belong and then your radio station helped you out with that?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I would have to say now, in a way, just with the pandemic recently and, just my position in life, which is, one of great privilege, going through the pandemic and then seeing, the murder of George Floyd. And I guess now, you can even talk about, what's going on in Ukraine. It just on a lot of levels, I guess it just made me think about, not that I didn't have the sense of belonging, but that I took maybe my sense of belonging in life a lot, just too much for granted, just being a white male of privilege. And so, I was, it's the pandemic, you're home alone a lot. So I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, well, okay, what is it that I can do with that privilege, to try to, leave the world a better place? And I was like, oh, I'm lucky enough to be the general manager of a radio station. And so, I don't know if you guys remember, at the beginning of this year, I was saying, let's do great things with the station, but let's try to encourage people to have conversations about, diversity, inclusion, and belonging, and let's try to make a difference that way. So, I think I take my position as an insider. I see, it's enabled me to try to pay attention to those who don't, haven't had the same opportunities I've had to feel that sense of belonging, and then try to figure out how I can pay that forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that kind of leads me to my next question, which is, can you describe a moment where you really did feel like you belonged here?
Literally like an hour ago. I'm doing a lot of the senioritis reflecting and the quarter life crisis as we all go through. Tomorrow marks 1 month until graduation, until I don't make those eyes.
Wow.
I can't. I know. And it's a beautiful day here on campus today. So I had my window open. I had my top lights off. I had my twinkly lights, and I was just going about my normal business, sending out the meeting minutes. And I was just like, it really just made me stop and think, like, over the past 4 years, I've like come to love the station. I've progressed through many different positions. I know everybody. I'm comfortable doing everything, pretty much anything here. With respect to Galen's position, I could not do the IT work he does, but and I was just thinking, because I had an interview about 30 minutes after that, like, in a month and a half, I'm starting over fresh. And that is just like, it's scary, it's exciting, but it just was like, it made me reflect on I've seen this station in so many different states, and I've seen so many different students come and go from here, and it was a bittersweet moment. It was like my end of the movie moment, where I was like, this is what I worked up so hard to do, and this is what I love to do, and I really found my passion to be in radio here. And in a month, it's just going to go
life,
back to
the
step
second
one.
you get comfortable, okay, blow it up.
Yep.
Time to move on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe we should, like, every year just lock down for a while just to be nostalgic, just don't go anywhere.
For funsies.
DoorDash.
Do you have any lessons for students who are struggling to feel better about being at the school?
Definitely indulge on your hobbies. Going into college, I did music industry because I liked music. They always told you in admissions, never say that you're doing this program because you like music. But that's what it was. And just be patient. Like I said, my sophomore year, I thought it was a dead end. I thought nothing was going to fix it. And I'm here today. I love this place more than anything. It's seen my ugliest of ugly and my prettiest of pretty. So it's just honestly, and two, it's also finding the people. I think this year has been one of our best years at the station, because the people that are involved are so amazing. So be patient and indulge on the hobbies and the things that make you happy.
Yeah, and I would say, just it's a life lesson. It's like know when to ask for help, and don't be afraid to ask for help. And life is going to be difficult. It's just a series of problems you're trying to solve. There's also a lot of wonderful stuff that happens, but it's, when you're in the weeds, it's, reach out, get some help, because people like to help.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, even just like taking advantage of what the school has to offer. The fact that they fund a radio station like this, like the fact that we're privileged enough to be able to sit down and have this conversation and talk about how we had our low moments and the station has helped bring us out of them. And that's just a privilege in itself. And I'm really grateful that we have this.
Yeah, it's only going to be bad if you don't learn something from it.
Exactly.
And that'll continue. Look I'm still working on it at age 64, so.
All right, I think that's a pretty good note to end it on. All right, thank you so much for being here. And if you don't mind just introducing yourselves.
I'm Bruce Barber, the general manager of 88.7 WNHU.
Wow, that sounded great.
Yeah.
In my headphones, that was great. I am Amy Sirachi. I'm a senior in the music industry program. I am also the station manager here at WNHU.
And I am Jess Finn. I am a junior here at University of New Haven, and I am the assistant station manager of 88.7 WNHU. I'm Jess Finn. I want to thank Amy and Bruce for joining me today to talk about the benefits of getting involved on campus. While it may seem like a small part of a college career, it can have a big effect on mental health. This podcast, Home Away from Home, is a part of the University of New Haven Welcome Project, a collection of stories about diversity, inclusion, and belonging. To listen or watch more projects, visit newhavenwelcome.com. Thank you.